Hey, hi, hello! I am back with my bullshit. I have to show you something before we start. Like, I was yesterday watching a bit of the VOD, and there were like a few really short cutscene moments that I couldn't pay proper attention to during the stream because they appeared and disappeared. They were like basically 5 seconds. I didn't make screens of everything, but I rewatched that section with when the trailblazer gets yeeted out of the vortex. There's like a 5-second cutscene where they are seeing Cyrene being killed over and over and over again. It's really quick. And I didn't even comprehend what she was saying, but in that moment she was saying that she and Finan, whatever they were doing, they are just putting a stopgap on everything until someone, read TV, Trailblazer, will turn this endless page. She said something like that. So they were waiting those 30 million loops. Now we have to make distinction between cycles and loops because we learned yesterday that cycles are a separate thing and the loops are a separate thing. Like cycles were what the scepter was running for Iron Tomb, and to respond to the question, what is the mover of life, kinda, or where the life comes from. But the loop, the eternal recurrence, is what Finan and Cyrene did to stop this one last cycle from helping Iron Tomb. They looped it infinitely so it would repeat. But there was also one thing that brought my attention. I saved it on my screen because it was a really nice visual. Oh, this. Look at this. There is Finan. Here's Finan in his godly form, like at the end of the fight in the vortex. When we get yeeted, we see past iterations of Cyrene, and in one of those scenes, Finan watches her die, and I suspect that was the first cycle, or the zero, the moment zero, let's say, before they started everything. And he grabbed that ceremonial moon dagger and then lifted it above his head and turned into his new godly form. So this is that form, and he is holding something above his head, like above his back, that looks like a sun, but it also represents the symbol of PHAI. So it's like, it's supposed to evoke the world-bearing titan. And then at the bottom you see like the blood is coursing through the godly body of Finan and is going straight into the shadow version of him, the Flame River. And then that actually, this visual is bigger, but I couldn't make the proper screenshot. On this side there is Flame River, and on this side there is also Flame River, but those are like the clones represented. So I really liked this visual because it reminded me of PHAI, and also it was those rays of sun were moving like a clock. They were like spinning, but not like constantly. They were like moving like you are turning something heavy, like once, twice, 3 times, and then there is an end of the scene. So I just wanted to show this. I don't know if I have anything else. I made a screenshot of what Cyrene said in... No, what was written down at the bottom of that visual. Oh, here. 33,550,336 eternal recurrences until the end of the world appears exactly at the bottom of that picture I showed you right now. I think I don't have anything more from yesterday's stream. Nope, nothing. Okay, I just wanted to show you this because it was interesting. And talk about that scene with TB being thrown back in time. Oh, also, part of that scene when TB is thrown out of the vortex, they witness Cyrene being killed over and over via that mirror. There is also a clock going in between those scenes, and that clock is shown in the trailer of this entire patch. But I didn't pay attention to that clock before that much, and I didn't notice that the numbers were not going up, they were going down. So I paid attention to it yesterday. They were going down, and they were like quickly spiraling from the actual number of the loops all the way down to the 0 loop, where Pinon grabs the ceremonial dagger, turns into his second form, and initiates the loop, and then there's a switch to the first loop, and then we are yeeted into the time stream and meet high Silence. So that was interesting. Okay, let's go back to our quest. Navigate. Kaslana POV. They will now keep referring to him as Kaslana all the time. Okay.
Light up the dawn.
I really need to get Pinon just for this ability alone.
Light up the dawn.
Because this is basically Acheron. Just physical. And I need it.
Oh. Nice moves.
Lol. I was just complimented by high Silence.
Light up the dawn.
We just washed it away and here it comes again. The black tide is really no joke.
Yeah, my question from the last stream stays, why, when we are in the year 3800 something, there is a Kephali with this evil thing on his back? Like, is this a different time version of events? Without Cyphera? Like, for example? Maybe she died or something in her lie, or didn't initiate the lie in the first place?
Light up the dawn. Light up the dawn.
Is he saying light up the dawn? Follow high Silence to greet Imperator Seraidra.
The waters end here. The one you seek is beyond this point.
Again, I can't stop looking at this section of her body because it kinda looks like it's not just on the dress, it kinda looks like I am seeing her bones and the bubbles inside her body.
At last. I can meet with Her Majesty Saridra herself.
Saridra. So this is how they pronounce it?
Are there any formalities I need to observe?
Don't kneel, don't do the hand-kissing or foot-kissing gestures of the old dynasty, and most of all, don't bow. The Imperator despises such rituals, especially when the heads of those taller than her bend beneath her crown.
She really is down to earth.
Lol.
The second thing to note, only trusted ones may come near her. Keep 5 paces distance until the Imperator allows otherwise.
Sounds like an old friend of mine.
Aww.
Well, experience is a good thing. Stay sharp, and you'll be just fine.
She looks nice. And like I said, she really reminds me of a little bit squished May. But the eyes are wrong. She doesn't have May eyes. There's a bit of the color of May, like the pink and purple, but only here, not in the whole eye. Her eyes are more blue, while May's eyes are usually a gradient of hueing colors from purple to dark blue, I think. There is no Imperator! Only Aglaya and Trivi!
Dux Goldweaver, little hostage. Apologies for keeping you waiting.
Hostage?
It's you.
You know them? Good. That makes things easier.
Before that, I'm more curious about one thing. Where is Her Majesty Saridra?
To avoid any misunderstandings, nameless Swordmaster. Although we spoke and laughed along the way, I never said you were entitled to meet her.
Aha, okay. Makes sense, I guess.
The Imperator decreed. The Deliverer will not appear in this age. Be wary of suspicious individuals.
Uh-huh.
Come now, both of you. Let's finish our job.
Wait, are they going to attack me?
I see. It's a trap.
So... I was right when I said that she should have stabbed him. She's going to stab him.
I had no intention of fighting. So remember this, Lady Hysealand. If my sword shows any hesitation, don't thank me. Thank them instead.
No, you misunderstand. We don't want to see Chrysoceres hurt each other. Just give us some time to ask you a few questions.
The Nestia's golden threads will judge you and decide your fate.
I almost forgot that quote.
As you wish.
White-haired Swordmaster? If what you say is true, then you must know the fate of the world. So, how much do you know about what we read from the prophecy?
Speak of Trivi's prophecy.
You shall shatter into 1,000 fragments and wither in the soil of foreign lands. Is that correct, Lady Trivi?
How is this possible?
He got it right?
Yes, but the prophecy never mentioned he'd appear here. At least, not in this era.
You must listen to me, Aglaya, Trivi. The Finan of this world has not yet been born. In a distant future, he will follow the prophecy's guidance and appear before you. But do not seek him out. Because Era Nova is a complete and utter lie. I will tell you the truth. And you will understand why the world must forsake the prophecy and find another path to Aranova. Because I know both of you. And I believe that no matter how the course of history may change, the faith we all share will always remain the same. And so, the layers of rock began to reverse, and history wove itself anew. Through my old acquaintances, I was given the chance to meet the leader of the Flame Chase journey, Saridra. And after a long and arduous negotiation, we came to an agreement. The Imperator's alliance needed the destruction, and I was ready to pour all my strength into it. The spoils of the Flame Chase, the core flames, would be sealed by my hand.
Okay, but I guess something didn't go right.
But the condition was this. In the upcoming battle, in our conquest of the Earth, I had to prove that my power could transcend fate. In the original history, there was a brutal war. At the end, the Titankin of Georios, Terravox, killed the rampaging Titan and took the core flame that supported the Earth. But this time, Amphorius encountered a turning point in its fate. Neither side suffered any losses. When I severed the Titan's head and raised the core flame high, the crowd gathered around the scorched remains of the god, roaring with joy, cheering for the hero of the destruction, who had ignited the faint spark of life for the first time. Yes, in that flickering light, the once dark path ahead seemed to become clear. I proved myself. And in the long years that followed, I brought down the other Titans, one by one. I could do more than just wait. When time resets, the chance to change the world also emerges from the lines of history. Until finally, the brutal future revealed by Aranova is reversed.
I don't know what is this going to achieve. Because looking at the other stuff we were shown so far, it doesn't seem like they succeeded in whatever they are doing now.
But tell me, if that's truly the case, why are we doomed to the same outcome?
My question exactly. The first eternal recurrent, N. There are two of them now.
The people kept their promise and handed you all the core flames. In this world after Trebios, no demigods were born in Amphorius. At this point, I just want to know. When they vanished into the black tide with their mortal bodies, why didn't you shed even a single tear?
Aye.
Your indifference chills me. To you, were they just a bunch of insignificant footnotes?
Aye.
Sorrow has been my constant companion. In fact, with 12 core flames upon me, the fire in my heart has never been more violent. I'll remember this world through anger. As long as I burn, they'll never truly leave me. Perhaps it's already too late. But you're right. Anger, at this moment, is the only weapon I can rely on.
So,
He sounds like he's going to stab him.
draw your sword, executioner. I'll make sure you realize that your greatest mistake was leaving me alive.
Ay, ay, ay.
After that, he raised his sword and attacked. Then, Kaslana killed himself. That day, who fell to the sword to be left in the past, and who went into the future, I can't remember anymore.
Wait, what? After that, he raised his sword and attacked. Then Kaslana killed himself. That day, who fell to the sword to be left in the past, and who went into the future, I can't remember anymore.
I only remember a nymph, hiding in the shadows just out of sight, futilely pushing a stone ball. Climb, fall, climb, fall, climb again, and fall.
Aye aye, Sisyphus reference! Finon said that he once had a dream that he was pushing a rock up a mountain, and it kept falling. So Sisyphus reference is very on point. Not only Kephali is Atlas and Gaia at the same time, but also we have Sisyphus.
The only freedom the nymph had was in choosing how to roll the stone. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes resting on a gentler slope, leaning against the stone for a break.
Okay, so this metaphor is basically that Finan could only choose how he will try to approach the next future. If he wants to end it quickly, or end it slow, or just let it pass him by for a long time. Leaning against the stone for a break. Is this why Flame River doesn't always appear? Is this why there are such huge time gaps between him appearing and him disappearing? And appearing again? I always couldn't understand why he didn't just go out of his way to hunt the core flames.
But its choice couldn't change the futility of it all. The stone would always roll back down the slope, and the nymph would always return to the starting point, beginning again. After that, every time I reached this point in the cycle, the burning sky would cast a shadow over its path. It would nearly reach the peak at the 4th quint of curtain fall hour, then fall to the starting point in the first 15 seconds of the next entry hour.
Am I supposed to take it as a metaphor that you will do the same? Nearly reaching its peak means probably Era Nova for New Finan, and then 50 seconds of fall.
And my efforts in this cycle would dissolve into nothing at the same time.
Finan, baby. Eternal Recurrence 1. Subject Kaslana persuaded the 12 Chrysos heirs to recover all 12 core flames in a peaceful way. After verification, the unauthorized access did not have a substantive impact on the experimental process. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs were terminated strictly in the predetermined experimental sequence and successfully loaded into the buffer. Subject Kaslana regressed the extrapolation process and abnormal fluctuations were detected in his mind function. Admin notes: the first devastating failure. Eternal Recurrence 2. Subject Kaslana adopted a strategy similar to the Eternal Recurrence 1. No substantive impact on the experimental process was observed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated normally in sequence. Subject Kaslana regressed the extrapolation process. Eternal Recurrence 3. Minor adjustments detected in Subject Kaslana's strategy. Decision weighting for avoid sacrifice of past companions has been increased. After verification, this adjustment did not have a substantive impact on the experimental progress. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated normally in sequence. Subject Kaslana regressed the extrapolation process. Eternal Recurrence 15. Subject Kaslana attempted to decompile the Black Tide for the first time, aiming to elevate access privileges and execute unauthorized access authorization operations against specific subjects represented by the 12 Chrysos heirs. So he tried to use Black Tide against the Chrysos heirs. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated normally in sequence. Subject Kaslana regressed the extrapolation process. Eternal Recurrence 42. Subject Kaslana's 11th attempt to breach the Scepter's core layer has failed. The decision waiting for avoid sacrifices of past companions showed a minor decline. Okay, so by the Eternal Recurrence 42, Kaslana tried to breach the server core 11 times. I guess he's trying to destroy Iron Tomb in some way, because Scepter is the Iron Tomb. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. Subject Kaslana regressed the extrapolation process. Eternal Recurrence 133. Analysis of observations from Eternal Recurrence 83 to 133 indicates that Subject Kaslana's strategy is gradually converging with that of the Eternal Recurrence 42. Over-synchronicity risk detected. Potential cognitive function degradation suspected. Okay, so in between 83 and 133, he was adopting similar strategy as in 42. And avoiding sacrificing of the Chrysos heir kept declining. Over-synchronicity risk detected. I guess it may be referring to the core flames? Over-synchronicity either with the core flames or with the Black Tide? Potential cognitive function degradation suspected, yes. Admin notes: this will undoubtedly reinforce the Iron Tomb's destruction vector within expectations. No intervention required. Continue observation. This is so sad. Like, he's trying to stop Iron Tomb from evolving by looping one cycle eternally, and what it achieves is only reinforcing the destruction vector. Eternal Recurrence 134. Oh, again this visual. It's really nice visual.
Absolute nonsense.
I thought cycles was the answer you were looking for.
No. It's just that the answer came so suddenly. There was no fun in tracing it back to its roots. Eons? Paths? What a load of nonsense.
Aye aye.
I can't give you an exact explanation of those two concepts either.
Enough. I'm just expressing my frustration. Don't you understand? I was already expecting this. The Black Tide came from beyond the sky. and everything else is no exception.
Fate is a strange thing. No matter how the details of history change, the Anaxa I know always remains as harsh as ever.
If the other Anaxagoras actually worshipped the gods, I'd make sure to find a way to break the cycles and crush them in their cradles.
Oh my god.
Too bad. Now only you have the ability to do that.
What's that supposed to mean? You're willing to help?
Of course. The core flames were meant to save the world. And in my opinion, the noble titans have no reason to refuse. Besides, according to you, before stepping into these endless cycles, you were my pupil.
I've already heard the same thing countless times.
Enough chit-chat. Let's go. If we run into any other scholars, leave them to me. We've all made preparations for total annihilation. Never thought someone would step in to help.
Light up the dawn. Light up the dawn. Light up the dawn.
You've been to the Luminary Throne before, haven't you?
If you're talking about in past cycles.
You're already much luckier than the other students. Hold up. Keep your wits about you. Someone's watching us.
Pretty boy, your eyesight's better than I thought. As for that false god who's been turning the world upside down, it's you, isn't it, Whitehair?
Wait. She said that false god. Is Finan responsible for all those rumors about the 13th Titan?
You sure do love stealing the spotlight.
But if the time is resetted every time, people shouldn't remember that. It shouldn't carry out into the future, because this is eternal loop.
In the name of the Seven Sages, I demand that you immediately step away from the Luminary Throne. This is the sacred ground of reason, and no one may desecrate it. Take my words back to Aglaya. I won't say the same thing twice, cat girl.
Lol.
Oh my! You won't even call me the demigod of trickery. That is just heartbreaking. I have some words for you, too. First, as one of the most heretical blasphemers in the world, you have no right to lecture me. Second, this is none of your business, Grove Boy. Step aside. I don't want anyone getting hurt.
Here we go. Again.
Core flame thieves. You really think you can scare off a sage of the grove with nothing but empty threats?
I noticed it, but I feel like Kaslana's eyes are a little dimmer blue than the regular Finan eyes, but I have no proof for that. Maybe just light.
This gloomy little brat's got a sharp tongue. Ooh, not bad, not bad. I kinda like you. As a return favor, please come search this core flame right here. Aw, don't cry now!
That was close. I'm out of here.
They're exactly like all the past ones I've known. Cunning. And yet so naive.
We love time zone shenanigan. Wait, I read that already. Sorry, I thought this was a new message.
Sounds like you have a plan.
Of course. When I first set out on the flame chase journey, Lady Treby never managed to teach me Orynyx's miracle. But along the way, I learned a thing or two.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
I just wanted to hear what they're saying.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
The Venerationists' foolish inventions finally come in handy.
How is this possible?
You've arrived, Zacharias. Always so punctual.
What? Do you know who I am?
I'm running out of patience. So I'm not going to waste words. Listen up, spirit thief. Hand over the core flame, and let's pretend we never clashed. This way, you and this world can still be saved.
Violence.
You sing better than any bard.
He sounds angry.
If you ask me, you're the greatest disaster Emporius has ever known.
Oh, that's sad. And a bit cruel.
No matter how strong you are, you're still just a mortal body. Carrying 12 core flames? Don't make me laugh. You'll just get consumed by the divine flames and drag this world down with you.
134.
What?
This is the 134th cycle I've lived through. And the number of core flames I carry is...
Calculator. X12.
1,596.
Yes.
1,000 core flames and just a single Chrysos heir. How is that even possible?
But aren't the core flames resetted with every cycle? Like, I wondered before when I saw leaks about finance descriptions, and then when he came out, the description itself, like, I was not surprised, just curious. How does this time shenanigan thing work? That the core flames always stay within him? Like, he takes them from one timeline to another, that's why they keep multiplying, because just like himself being able to exist in 2 points of time, he's removing himself from one timeline and entering another one. That makes sense, I guess.
I've come this far. And that's proof enough.
But someday you will burn to the ground.
Of course. The divine flames will eventually consume my eyes and blind me. But before that, they could still forge and sharpen Dawnmaker. Now when I cut open your stomach, you won't feel a thing.
You...
This is the final warning.
Fine. Assume this world holds 100 million possibilities. And no matter how one looks at it, 99,999,999 of them all point to outcomes of certain destruction. Even so, I'll use my divine power, despised by the people of this world, to achieve that 1 in 100 million possibility.
Bartolos!
Brett, if you got the guts, you'll have to first step over my dead body.
Aye, aye.
tomorrow! I'm fine. A future will come! Existence is of no consequence.
Hey, I didn't turn into the god!
How absurd.
In my memories, Zagreus always meets the same end. Over and over again. Their departure no longer stirs anything in my heart.
This reason core flame before us is a fake. Obvious as day.
I know.
Okay, but Kaslana in the current cycle didn't know.
I know. It always plays out like this. The spirit thief covers for her, and the trickery demigod escapes with 2 core flames.
Wait, in the current cycle it was the other way around. Cyphera was covering for Bartolos, and Bartolos had the actual one. So this is why he thought she actually has a core flame with her. Because he already did it 30 million times. And if it always happens the exact same way, then he was expecting Cyphera to have the core flame with her, no matter how many tricks she pulled. And then, in the end, when it turned out she doesn't, it was the first time when it was not her who had the core flame. It was Bartolos. So our existence in this world already shifted variables. Already made people make different choices. Also the song. Finance song is everywhere.
And then, driven by defiance or hatred, she decides to stand before me once more. Exactly like the countless past hers I've known. Cunning. Yet so naive.
This is exactly what I said when I saw what Cyphera did by playing with Flame River. She was cunning, but so naive to expect to actually win.
Since you've witnessed the same scene play out countless times, tell me, will you carve the trickery core flame from my chest now?
That depends on your attitude. At least so far, in the cycles where you've asked this question, the endings haven't been so cruel.
Well, thank you for that. But I also believe that this time, you won't catch up to me. No one can catch up to me. I'm no longer running to escape anymore.
Whether you believe me or not, I'll still tell you this. You've made the wrong decision.
All right, then. We'll see.
Silence.
This is new.
One-eyed boy. What are you trying to pull now?
Go, Cyphera. Give us some time in private. This isn't for her, but for you. You've walked too far down this path. It's time to discuss a possibility. Maybe the road you're walking is not one of salvation, but one that will simply drag the world into the flames. For all time's sake, turn back. I don't care how many times you've tried, because there's one thing I'm sure of. Your Messiah complex has turned you into something no different from the icy gods you spoke of. The children of humanity you swore to save. They are no more than ants to you now, aren't they?
Exactly, that's the problem. That's exactly the problem. It's also a Kevin trait, typical. Like, Kevin wanted to destroy Honkai so much and fulfill the promise he made to Mei that he turned into the villain who didn't really care how many people will die because of the one plan that he had to save the world. And then Kiana and the rest defied him and showed him that there is a better way to save the world. But it was only thanks to Alicia's sacrifice that they were able to do it. In this version of the story, Cyrene is Alicia, and she sacrificed herself not for the future Finan to have the ability to save the world. I mean, partly also for that, or more like for another person that may enter the loop. But she also sacrificed herself to put this entire plan into motion, exactly like as if she was fulfilling partly the role of Mei. She was both Alicia and Mei at the same time. She put this entire loop in motion, hoping that after enough loops, someone will manage to find a solution. And she didn't specify who she was meaning. I don't know if she knew that Finan won't be able to do it, or she hoped it would be him, but he couldn't find a way to save everyone. And that's why Trailblazer was needed. Because Trailblazer was an outsider with a fresh look at everything, and they could change so many variables to actually find a correct solution. Because they are an outsider, they have more knowledge from the outside. They can look at the situation in a more broad way. They can see things that Finan and Anaxa can't see. So that's why they are needed here. It doesn't mean that Finan of the current loop isn't important. It just means that to achieve the goal once and for all, he needs Trailblazer's support. He needs Trailblazer to be there, to shift the variables.
Of course. I've been wondering, what kind of demon could burn my homeland to the ground in an instant without batting an eye? Now I have the answer. It turns out that fiery demon has been fantasizing of becoming this world's deliverer.
I don't want to argue anymore. No matter what I say, the outcome won't change. Make your biggest effort to resist, or accept fate, and hand over the core flame to me. Even if it's futile, we all have the right to choose.
Yes. Even if it is futile, and the world is just a divine joke.
When I walk into the destruction written by the gods, with my own 2 legs, you will witness. Even the smallest footnote still leaves a mark in this story.
And so, at the end of the 134th cycle, the Traveler and the Scholar fulfilled their fates once again. Or perhaps it wasn't just they who fulfilled their fates. I can't quite remember all this. In the endless darkness, for no reason, a voice always lingered by my ear. Losses are a constant on the flame chase journey, among which even life itself holds little value. Reduced to ashes. Such a familiar end.
Is this the number of core flames that are inside him? Because he was not illuminated that much before.
It happens in every journey. Always the same.
Eternal Recurrence 134. Subject Kaslana's 103rd attempt to breach the scepter's core layer has failed. Decision weight for avoid sacrifices of past companions approaching 0.00018. Over synchronicity risk detected. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. Subject Kaslana regressed the extrapolation process. Eternal Recurrence 5297. Subject Kaslana's 5266th attempt to breach the scepter core layer has failed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence with a trend of acceleration noted. Subject Kaslana regretted the extrapolation process. Subject strategy now nearly identical to Eternal Recurrence 42. Mind function degradation detected, with possible irreversible damage. Administrator directive received. No more prompts about the risk of mind function damage. Eternal Recurrence 12,398. Subject Kaslana's 12,367th attempt to breach the scepter's core layer has failed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. The extrapolation process regressed. Eternal Recurrence 23,779. Subject Kaslana's 23rd 1748th attempt to breach the scepter's core layer has failed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. The extrapolation process regressed. Eternal Recurrence 46,645. Subject Kaslana's 46,614th attempt to breach the scepter's core layer has failed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. The extrapolation process regressed. Eternal Recurrence 71,243. Subject Kaslana's 71,212 attempt to breach the scepter's core layer has failed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. The extrapolation process regressed. Someone made a mistake here. Eternal Recurrence 80,023. Subject Kaslana's 79,992 92nd attempt to breach the scepter's core layer has failed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. The extrapolation process regressed. Eternal Recurrence 95,575. Subject Kaslana's 95,544th attempt to breach the scepter's core layer has failed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. The extrapolation process regressed. Eternal Recurrence 108,641. Subject Kaslana's 108,610th attempt to breach the scepter's core layer has failed. Life cycles of the 12 Chrysos heirs terminated in sequence. The extrapolation process. Regress. Eternal recurrence 108,642. And again the song. Again the song.
You don't look so good, Deliverer.
Even after going through 108,642 cycles. Mighty, your name for me has never changed.
Why do you sound so pleased? It's a derogatory name.
What?
Yeah, I know all too well. You only meant it sincerely in the first cycle. After that one and only time we walked side by side. Every time since. It always ends up like this.
Wait, does it mean that when he's doing those reoccurrences after the first, like in the loop 0, they were friends, but then in the loop 1, Kaslana took the core flames, all the demigods died, and Finan was the only last standing, and he tried to kill Kaslana, and we don't know which one killed which one, but I suspect Kaslana killed Finan. Does it mean that in the loop 2nd onwards, Kaslana just kept killing Finan as a child? And then taking his place in the Flame Chase journey? Because there is no second Finan here, and Mighty doesn't know him as Finan anymore.
Dawnmaker will stab you through your 10th thoracic vertebra. That's your weak spot, and the only way to kill you.
Interesting. Tell me, when the mighty Moses of the past faced you, did they ever retreat?
Never.
Then they died honorably, worthy of the name of strife. But there's still tenderness in your eyes. How pathetic.
I have to remember how this feels.
Wait, what? Tenderness in his eyes? Mighty is so angry at him that he doesn't even have sympathy for him anymore. But Kaslana still has tenderness in his eyes? And he wants to remember how this feels, like killing Mighty or fighting Mighty?
Remember that I was once human. Or else the destruction will completely consume me.
Aha, so this is what he wants to remember. That he used to be human.
If you win, tell the mighty most of the next life. This person is a worthy opponent. So always remember to give it your all and never slack off.
Oh, even when he's angry, he sees him as a worthy opponent.
I'll keep that in mind. As always.
Even though the dynasty is left with just one, the Kremnos festival will continue as usual. I, the king of the Kremnoan Legion, will host the final feast in the center of this arena, and the prize will be the flames of strife. One day, you shall die with a wound in your back. That's what I saw when I overcame the trial. The gods' dying ramblings. Enough. You've probably heard this thousands of times. So you must understand, facing the demigod of strife means there's no way you'll take this core flame in peace.
I understand.
Step forward and face me in a final battle. I,
the last son of Gorgo, the demigod of strife, salute you. I'll give 10,000 scars and 10,000 lives of mine to fuel the blazing sun of deliverance.
Oi oi! Why did it sound like that? He sounded like Nikador for a second. Oh. Oh. What is this? Some kind of glitch? The other finance are appearing. He turned into Nikador!
Martyrs, behold! The last Kremnost festival
Ay ay! So this is this!
and will not end till death.
Mighty must Lance of Fury!
Trying to temper myself. The future will come! I can't let them down.
Conquer this world, or be conquered by me.
As you wish.
Okay, for the sake of fairness, let us go to vaster battleground. Oh Jesus.
Full glory. I salute you.
That's all I ever wanted.
Ay 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 ay! Why does it sound as if Mighty was having fun? Because this is the duel he always wanted.
Hail the new dawn! Empty shell! So without substance! Sun, tear the sky! Quench the flames of blood!
Doja, Kyrios.
Branded with strife! I'll never yield to fate! Empty shell! Quench the flames of blood! Her agony!
If you can, deliver. Use the flames of your fury to scorch your own flesh.
I am hurt!
Hail the new dawn! So without substance! Empty shell! Is that all? The flames are not strong enough. Sun, tear the sky!
Mightimos. Let strife decide the outcome. Let this burn. Or curse of immortality!
Well fought. You may crown yourself. My blood.
They are enemies in this version of reality. I don't like it.
Your next life, I shall once again block your path.
We are now watching the story from the perspective of the Flame Reaper, basically. Oh.
Deliver. I wish you eternal victory.
Oh. Even as enemies? He wishes him eternal victory? This is a Kremnoan saying. For good luck. In the next life, I shall once again block your path. Deliver, I wish you eternal victory. Wait, that sounds like he says that he'll always stand in his way, but wishes him luck in taking him down. As if he wanted to be taken down. But we know that he doesn't want that. We know that he doesn't want Castellana to win. Is this just Mighty's fighting spirit talking? How should I interpret this?
The 108,642nd core flame of strife fell into the fire. Yet the shadows of the black tide still loomed, and pain and despair spread across distant lands. The blaze was still not enough. It had to be fed.
Wait, is Castellana assuming that the more coal flames he will get, the higher the chance will be to repel the black tide as some twisted sun in the sky?
Even if it meant burning this body to ash.
Maybe you need therapy. There's still 30 million before him. Oh, 2,003,432.
No matter how bright the sun is, there are still places it cannot reach. Moreover, the sun you bear is both cold and blinding. A sun like that surely cannot bring warmth to the nether realm of the next life.
Golden blood is born from the destruction. We have long since lost the right to seek warmth.
He sounds harsh.
Only by feeding the flames can we melt that hopeless future.
Allow me to ask, how many core flames do you carry now?
24,041,183.
83? If there's... Wait, 12... Shouldn't there be 84? Shouldn't there be an even number?
Such a heavy burden. So that's why you've turned into this. A broken idol. Tragic firewood.
No matter. I will bear this burden as long as you hand over the core flame of death.
I must refuse. As the demigod of death, I cannot watch you walk into a fate more cruel than death.
But this way, the past, present, and future will never again suffer unnecessary death.
Unnecessary death. Indeed, you are not the Finan I know.
Oh. Okay, so... In this Eternal Recurrence, she does know Finan. So there are two of them, and he just keeps going killing them, looking exactly like Finan? Nobody is like suspicious of the regular Finan? Because there are now two of them, they're kinda like twins?
Please turn back. Don't let that absurd and unjust fate of yours come to pass. This way, at least my realm can still become the fragrant bed where you fall asleep.
In the end, still, it seems the clash of blades was inevitable.
How painful. I know I am not your match, having fallen under your sword countless times. But even so, please understand that my resolve is not to be underestimated.
Why can't you just touch him and make him die on the spot?
Even Kethali cannot shape all things at will, nor can they dictate the fate of all life. No one can shoulder the balance of life and death alone, not even a god.
Or maybe because he already has a core flame of death, he is not easily killed like that.
And it is precisely for this reason that I chose, at the end of this arduous journey, to overcome the trial and take the authority of death. I am the Hand of Shadow, Casterus, the demigod of death. Listen closely, deliverer from days past. Please turn back. Do not disturb these fresh flowers in their muddy deaths.
Again, glitches. Oh, she turned into this body.
At this crossroads of life and death, the giant dragon is but a shattered shell. Yet I will still fight, defending what hope remains.
It's time to temper myself. I won't give up, no matter how long. For tomorrow! I'm fine.
I ask you to rest here!
Allow me to refuse. I must transform my soul into a raging fire. Must burn that idol of destruction to the ground.
Sun, tear the sky!
All of this. How is it any different from that little future?
Good question, Caster. Is exactly what I wanted to ask. But this is Kevin. You can't really talk logic into him. You have to just defeat him and beat his ass.
Quench the flames of blood! Remember agony! Hail the new dawn! Feel the scorching hatred. Quench the flames of blood!
Keep him here.
Sun, tear the sky! So without substance, all stars burn to ash. Quench the flames of blood.
Even if I can't win, I must try.
Let this be a tribute to your million struggles for time.
Wake up, lost one. See that the firelight in the darkness is not.
Are we going to go 8 battles like
The
this?
core flame of death was taken from the dragon's belly. What a brilliant flame. It should shine upon all, light the path ahead, and illuminate the dawn of Amphorius that's to come. 2,003,432 cycles. 24,041,184 core flames.
Aha, because the only one he didn't get yet was death.
As if even the deepest abyss of primordial chaos could be burned away.
Are we going to face every single one of our friends? 4 million burst, eternal recurrence, time of departure. Hero within.
You're here, as always. You're still lingering, deep within me, never fading away.
Aww. So he always has this ideal of who he aspires to be inside of him, even after all of those cycles.
Because you haven't completely abandoned hope. Am I right? You're still waiting for a miracle. For the true hero to come and save us.
So Cyrene's and Finance's thoughts were aligned. They both are waiting for someone. For someone to help them change the fate of this world.
If that thread of hope exists, it must come from beyond this world. From the true starry sky.
That's us! That's Trailblazer.
But if it's just a traveler with no connection to Amphorius, they may not understand our struggles, nor be willing to join this fight.
Well, joke's on you, Trailblazer will join even if they don't understand shit.
Your thoughts are wavering. The mark of destruction is deepening. But even within the gods' cold calculations, unconditional courage and goodwill still emerge. So, never forget what set you on this path.
So there, between cycles, there's always Aedes Elysia as a stopping point. He always arrives at Aedes Elysia and then travels back in time.
How many times has it been? Remind me again. My memory is a bit fuzzy. 4 million. Exactly. Then that blaze inside of you must be burning hotter than ever. Yes. When I first forged the 12 core flames into one, I had the same impression. The destruction. A power unlike anything before surged within me. Violent flames ready to tear my body apart and consume this world, this wretched prison. I thought that was it. The ultimate power which nothing could surpass. And yet now, this fragile body holds a staggering 48 million core flames. I suppose it won't be long. Perhaps just a fleeting 10,000 years. Before it's reduced to nothing but charred, crumbling bones. And when that happens, your long struggle will finally come to an end. No. I've already found a way to keep the cycles going.
Aww.
Mind sharing it with me? In every new cycle, A new me is born. All I have to do is push the next Finan to the end of the world. And then... then he'll kill me. Shatter this body. Take my flames, my memories, and carry on the path I started.
Oh shit. So this is his backup plan. He knew that his body wouldn't be able to withstand it at some point. So he always waits till the end to let new Finan kill him and take the flames and memories from him, so then the new body would be burdened with the mission for the next cycle. And if the new body can't withstand this one cycle, then the new Finan will. Maybe new body will be able to withstand a few loops, but maybe it will be able to only withstand one. But would it be the same? The same question comes back to me. If you inherit someone's memories, does it count if you didn't do it yourself? Is your attitude the same? Like, I would say that the new Finan going into this journey after killing the Kaslana and taking his memories would be like someone who has watched a very long movie with a very repeating theme, and he will be a bit disconnected from those because he never committed them himself, but then he will commit it himself, and only then he will feel connected to all of those memories. But as long as he will be only carrying them around, he will feel disconnected from them, because they can't override his actual memories of what he did.
Bold plan, but risky. What if, one day, the next you refuses to follow the same path?
Yeah, what if he feels so disconnected from the memory that he says, "Fuck this plan is stupid"?
How can you ensure the continuation of the cycles? If it were Professor Anaxa or Aglaya in my place, maybe they'd come up with something smart. Unfortunately, I don't have a backup plan. I have no choice but to bet everything on the next Finan, and trust that he makes the same choice I did. But even in this wretched prison, luck is still sometimes on my side. Because I never forget what set me on this path. Wait, you mean... Ever since I committed to this plan, not once, in millions of cycles, has there ever been an exception.
Okay, now there's 9 million. So we are 23 million. Oh, Eternal Records is 570,000.
I can do this, Lord Finan. As the demigod of the sky, a healer of Twilight Courtyard, I will heal you. And then...
A black tide. It's consuming you. You can't hold out much longer, demigod. Hand over the core flame. Let's put an end to this suffering.
Now, that just won't do. A healer should stay composed in front of those suffering from illness. Shouldn't they?
Hyacinthia.
I didn't like this. Also, did he kill the Finon of this time or not?
I swear the raging fire.
Your deaths won't be in vain. Just as they have never been.
Let the sunlight drive back the shadows.
You talked over Mighty. I didn't hear what Mighty said.
Bring tomorrow to this world. Let the sun rise.
Finish the sun's work.
It looks like Kaslana is the one who is getting corrupted. He barely can see reality without these glitches anymore.
It's the break of day. I believe in you. You are the Chrysos heir of world bearing. The one who can lead us. Lead this world. It's just... I don't understand. Within the sun upon your shoulders, the part of that warmth that should come from you, from an ordinary person, it's so faint.
My humanity is indeed just a flicker, compared to the blazing fire of divinity.
Even so, don't cast it away.
I never have. I have kept everyone's wishes close to my heart. Even though the divine fire burns so fiercely that every time I return to the start, it devours me in an instant. Each cycle, it's your wishes that guide me to the end, that pass the flames to the next me.
So he already started being killed by Finon of the current loop, and the Finon of the current loop takes over from him?
Over and over and over again.
So, you're not just a lone spark in the dark. You're a pyre built from the bones of all the selves you've left behind.
Wait, that first killing. He said, if it was Finon killing Kaslana or Kaslana killing Finon, I no longer remember. Because that first time when they killed each other, or more like one of them killed the other, the transfer occurred. So no matter if it was Finon who killed Kaslana or Kaslana who killed Finon, at the end of the equation, it will always be Kaslana that comes out of this. So this is why he had this plan. That he can just get killed by himself. Because even if he's killed by himself, the flames will just go to the next one and he will keep going. Unless one of Finance finally says stop.
But what about you? What about your wishes? The wishes of all the countless versions of you?
That's a good question. He's so self-sacrificial to the point of hurting himself, to the point of not even caring what his wishes are.
Lord Kaslana. So that's how it is. Without flaw. That is the flaw the golden blood gave you. The most fatal flaw of all, isn't it?
Exactly! There's no thing like person without any flaws. Not having flaws in itself is a flaw.
The moment you took the world upon your shoulders without hesitation, you lost the chance to ever be yourself.
Yes.
Now that is an unexpected revelation. And I suppose that makes me the perfect fuel for the flame of deliverance, doesn't it?
No. An empty flame saves no one. But I still believe in you, Deliverer.
Hyacinthia, the Eye of Twilight. I'm neither strong enough to command the wind and rain, nor willing to end this absurd struggle by letting the sky fall. The only thing I can do is become one with the sky itself. And then, may the gentle colors of the rainbow paint your sun in shades it has never known. May they bring Amphorius, a rosy-fingered dog. Though the light has grown dim, its warmth still lingers. Deliverer, please, open your heart to me.
No matter. Let this blazing sun fill the sky with golden fire.
Quench the flames of blood. Is that all? Fear the sky! Her agony!
It hurts. The fire. Burning.
Hail the new dawn! Quench the flames of blood! Lost in twilight! Rend it with strife! Sun tear the sky! So without substance.
Let the sky merge with all this world's suffering.
Quench the flames of blood! Await the end! Her agony! Hail the new dawn!
What is happening?
Farewell, Hyacinthia.
Yes, your sun burns hot enough to turn everything to ash. But tell me, how will the seeds of a new world ever take root?
The core flame rose. The sky fell. The 23,570,000th cycle came to an end. And this time, the end of the flame chase remained the same as ever. From the horizon rose a golden color unlike anything the world had ever seen. So pure it consumed all in its path. This was the end of the world, and the start of the next.
So he at the end of every cycle becomes a consuming fire that destroys everything.
For a moment, I saw the destruction of the universe. That being known as Iron Tomb, its will to break free from the black tide burns fiercer than the blazing sun.
from the Black Tide? I thought Black Tide was part of the Iron Tomb. Like, why does it sound as if Iron Tomb couldn't leave because of the Black Tide? Because the Black Tide became too strong.
Is this Amphorius's wrath? If its choice has already been made, if fate is set in stone, I will still never yield to it.
Okay, so this is the image from the trailer. Finan watching flames. So this is not Finan. This image was Kaslana in the trailer.
23,570,000 cycles. 282,840,000 core flames.
Aye, that's a lot.
No more chasing is needed. And now, I am the fire at the end of the long night.
No more chasing is needed? I am the fire at the end of the long night. Wait.
The flame chase isn't some quiet walk through a sea of flowers. It's a revolution. An all-consuming transformation. And if destruction is the only way, then let me be the one to step across the ashes of the old world and burn endlessly until another dawn rises on the distant horizon, bringing the true dawn to Amphorius.
One eternal recurrence. So we are now in the previous cycle. Now, this is the current cycle.
33,550,337.
Huh?
This is the cycle you're about to enter.
Huh?
Countless memories are flooding in.
Oh, so this is the current Finan. He killed Flame River, so he got all those memories.
Countless versions of myself have stood here, facing the same choice.
They all needed a moment, just like you do. To stop, to breathe, to process the weight of 1,000,000 lifetimes worth of sorrow, pain, and struggle. And just like them, you will carry those memories and that fire into the chaos of rebirth.
Before we entered this part of the story, we watched other eternal recurrences, and every time there was a Flame River at the vortex. So every time Finan killed Flame River and then ended up in Aedes Elysiae, getting all of those memories and always making the same choice. Since the very first eternal recurrence that happened. Every time. But he also was hunting down others, not hidden under a cloak. So there were two Finans at the same time, and one Finan was always going through the Flame Chase journey as insurance. So Flame River, like Kaslana didn't kill Finan at the start, like I as I was theorizing before. Maybe we didn't see Finan because he was killed, but it looks like he's fine in every cycle. But how are they then handling the thing with second Finan? Like I said, my question stands. If they know that there is a white-haired guy going around killing people and razing cities, how can they trust Finan to be a good guy? Like, what's going on? Like, is he wearing the mask in the end? And is just portrayed for our convenience as Finan? Or not? Because the memories didn't seem to imply that he was wearing any masks. Because and the Midimos and the Castors and Hyacinthia always addressed him by the names that we know Finan to be addressed by. So that's confusing. Like, how can he walk through this world doing whatever he wants and nobody gave a regular Finan any issues because of that? And when exactly did he start using the cloak? Because by the 23 million he was still regular. So when did he started using the cloak, and when did he start looking like a marble statue?
I must go and bear this burden.
No, don't make this choice, say no.
I must say goodbye to you, and then fight the destruction with destruction.
Yay! Yes, kill Nanook, but can you, can you not repeat the cycle? Can you, I don't know, ask Trailblazer for help or something?
Yes. That's always the decision you make.
Aye!
I will burn and fade away. I will become the flame reaver of this life and keep my promise to Cyrene.
No, my Finan is making bad choices! Even though he met me, how dare you? No, I refuse.
I will kill gods and comrades alike and steal the core flames. And even if my mind turns to ash along with my body, I will keep my purpose in mind. I will stop Era Nova. I will find the next me and make him carry on this futile endeavor of 30 million lifetimes.
Looks like you're ready. Then I should be going too.
Where are you going? You only exist in my heart. There's nowhere else for you to go.
Do you remember what she said? The dreams you had as children. The deliverer in the prophecies. A real, living, breathing person. You finally found her.
Friend.
I'm being pulled into your memories. Is there anything I can do?
I don't have an answer for that, my friend. I'm sorry. I was supposed to send you home. This is my flame chase journey. You were never meant to be a part of it.
No. You know the truth. If Iron Tomb is born from Amphorius' fate, then it will bring ruin to the worlds beyond the sky. And all these countless lifetimes you've spent, it's all been for the sake of defying that end, hasn't it? In millions of cycles, I've said goodbye to each and every one of you. Yet nothing ever changes. Each time we speak, our words grow fewer. Your fire burns hotter, and you're getting closer to... becoming pure rage. A vessel of hatred. I never had a choice. I understand. If you are to keep the worst fate from unfolding, this is the only path. But this time, things are different. Your persistence has shifted the tide. On the horizon, I see it. Faint but undeniable. The shape of dawn, breaking through the eternal night. Turns out, the fire that lights the way was never mine to begin with. Do you remember, in that first timeline, you and Mightymost stood before the scales of justice, locked in a duel? Each of you weighing what you held dearest. What weighed more than the fate of the world? And when hesitation took hold, the answer you sought from me. What am I saying? I am you. Even if you buried me deep and chose another path, that fact never changed. Then let's try again. When you stood before the scales in hesitation, the answer you found in your own heart. Do you still remember it? Remember the past and become the hero of tomorrow. What weighs more than the fate of the world is the resolve to shoulder an immutable past and carry it into the future. Good. Then Trailblazer, my friend, my comrade, you arrived in this strange world and were bound by its cruel fate up till this very moment. In the face of danger, you never once backed down. Instead, you've saved world after world without hesitation. That boarding pass on your chest is now the mark of a hero. If I choose to step through that door and embrace an end fitting of the destruction, let this sun forged from millions and millions of core flames burn me up along with the god of destruction and their minions. And the world we leave behind, this world, my home, where hope still lingers. Will you take on everything we've carried? Return to the beginning one last time. Stop the birth of Iron Tomb, save the world we love, and rewrite its doomed fate.
Obviously. I will. I will be the dawn of Aquarius. I will stop the completion of Iron Tomb.
Good. In that case, even this fruitless wasteland may finally bloom with flowers. So... if she takes on the weight of the whole world, she'll be able to walk further down the path of deliverance than a fire that only knows how to burn. One will step into the future. One will remain in the past. If I can strike down the gods with Dawnmaker, perhaps fate's deadlock can be broken. And if you can stop Iron Tomb from ever being born, then these 30 million cycles will have not been in vain. It's time to put our teamwork to the test, partner.
Now when I look at him, he does look like Hero Within. But the Hero Within looked more like a random NPC with random hairstyle, not the final hairstyle. Go fight for the future, Finan. Leave the world to me, Finan. Let's both be the deliverer, Finan. This is exactly what I wanted to say. This is what is the most fitting answer here, because Trailblazer and Finan are walking the same path. They're supposed to be parallels to each other. That's why when they were fighting Aquila, they were both making this grand, move to kill it. They are both the heroes, so they should both be the deliverer.
Thank you for all you've done already, friend.
The image of the hero I've buried deep in my heart finally steps into the light. Here, at the end of this long flame chase journey.
Wait, doesn't it mean that we still can save everyone, but at the cost of different Finan going through the cycle, like the loop? Like, they will have completely different memories and different situations with the Finan of the next loop.
Cyrene, a page never seen before has just been turned.
I have questions, like I want this Finan to get his people back. This Finan is the one I had adventures with.
Lend me the power of time, and send this hero back to the origin of time. Back to your side. And I will walk the unfinished path, just like the countless versions of me before. Unwavering as always.
This is exactly the same what they did with Nikador. Eternal Recurrence End. Wait, what?
Tell me, will you be the blazing sun?
The unknown eternal recurrence. And
Even if all of you burns to ash.
Without hesitation, I will bear this world until my body turns to dust. Remember this moment. Remember your friends who never lived to see the world's end. Remember their final wishes. And let the purest rage in your heart rise out of those wishes. Let it consume you, fuel you, until it burns away the false sky above. Fine. If I can defy fate, then in the name of world-bearing, I promise you, Kefali will never forget this.
Take it. Everything I bear. Keep on burning. As long as we are never extinguished, the flame chase will not end. Bow your head to them.
Shit!
Take it, Trailblazer. May this blood be like gold, and never tarnish.
What is happening? I don't get it. Which cycle we're in? I got confused!
Farewell, Trailblazer. This is where I fulfill my final destiny. The prophecy of the Deliverer means nothing to me now. It belongs in the hands of someone far more fitting. Someone like you. Kaslana. The name of one who bears chaos does not belong to a single person. Rather, it is the embodiment of the mythical Kefali, and a symbol of all heroes. As the prophecy foretold, you will bear the blazing sun until the pale dawn breaks. May the name accompany you in my place, in the epic you write with your own hands.
Okay, so Finan will bear the blazing sun until a pale dawn, the Trailblazer, breaks.
Another attempt, another failure. I won't remind you how many times you've reached the end of history, but I will still place the choice before you.
If you've lost count, let me tell you. This is the 33,550,336th ending.
Okay, I don't get it now. The hero within said that Finan would enter the 37th cycle. But at the same time, hero within went into Trailblazer and went into the past. So why are we back in this cycle? Like, why did he transform? And we were in the chamber and then we disappeared? Like, we were running and then we poof, there is none? Wait, is this related to our death upon entering Amphorius? Like, we entered Amphorius and died. Is this somehow related to this? Like, we also met Mem for the first time just after we woke up from our death.
A perfect number. How poetic. You and I both know the truth. In all these millions of futile endeavors, Amphorius has never changed. If the outcome is inevitable, then why not silence your searing rage?
and embrace your fate with dignity. Your silence lasts longer than ever, Lord Finan.
So, but that means that this is my Finan.
Shall I take that to mean the will you've carried across countless cycles is finally starting to fracture?
Fracture? No. I'm just disappointed. I've retrieved memories from 30 million past lives, and I remember every conversation before every choice here. And yet, even after all this time, your arguments remain the same. Repetitive. Uninspired. If you had any hope of breaking me, you should have spent those endless cycles refining your rhetoric.
Haha, lol.
You had infinite chances to sway me into the future you want. And yet here we are. The score, 33,550,336 to 0. So tell me, Lycurgus, who's the real loser here?
How unfortunate. This was never a fair game. I have all the time and patience in the world. I can wait for you at the end of history another billion times, and another billion after that. But you will never escape this cage. You can claim victory of the spirit if you wish, but we both know the moment that score shifts from 0 to 1. That is the moment I shall sound the paean of Era Nova.
Why is he looking like Kefali? I didn't notice that he was addressed as Finan all this time.
Lord Finan?
Why is Lycus so, unsure?
Your incompetence disappoints me. But what truly makes me laugh is your utter lack of self-awareness. Think about it. In this story, who is truly the one in chains? Who is the one shackled to mindless vengeance, mistaking courage, the courage to rebel against the gods, for foolishness?
Ha ha ha. Oh no, reverse! He's so angry.
Perhaps you're right. Maybe I should have tired of this futile struggle long ago. But even so, I will never accept the mercy of your release. Because you are both a prisoner to the gods and to me. And tell me, what right does a mere prisoner have to speak of fate and choice? What right does a mere prisoner have to look upon my fury?
Wow, Finan, you sound like Mighty Boss.
You know this is pointless. You can't kill me.
Of course not. But I am tired of being measured against a worm the gods keep as a pet.
Ooh. Damn, burn!
Listen well, creator of destruction. This cry comes from all your abandoned creations. In the 10th cycle, I drove Dawnmaker through the heart of every Titan. golden blood ran down my fingers, divine fire seared through my nerves, nearly breaking my will. But I endured. In the 10,000th cycle, my former comrades had all become my enemies. The endless slaughter dulled my senses to pain. The painful emptiness almost swallowed me, forcing me to stop fighting. But I endured. In the 100,000th cycle, the destruction had already fused into a blazing sun, surging within this fragile body. My rationality had been burned away at the dawn of the era. Yet even with only this shattered body remaining, I still endured. In the 23,570,000th cycle, this time, I felt it. A tiny spark rising in the hollow cavity of my chest, different from the obsession with deliverance. By its faint glow, once again, no, countless times again, I endured. Now, a sun is about to fall, ready to incinerate this absurd space-time dimension in an instant. That sun is me. All the countless versions of me from the past, along with my countless brethren, dragged into existence against their will, drowning again and again in your golden blood. The very essence of this world's suffering and despair, fused into the purest hatred, the fiercest rage. Nanook, you arrogant fool!
Aye aye!
You think we were born to only serve as fuel for the fire? Fine then! Just as you wish, let the fire burn!
Tell him! Tell him how stupid he is!
If I was born as the blazing sun of destruction, then let you and your lackeys be the flares erupting from my core. And let this rage, burning futilely for 30 million epochs, engulf everything!
Okay, I have a question. What will be your name as a Lord Ravager of Destruction, Finan?
Grant you a dawn, where all stars burn to ash!
Aye aye! Maybe, can you, like, make it a little less encompassing? Like, let's focus on Nanook and his cronies. Like, let's leave the stars. Okay, yeah? We don't need to destroy the whole galaxy while trying to destroy Nanook, okay? Warning, warning, warning! Experimental anomaly detected. Subject Kaslana failed to load into buffer zone. What? Memory dump irregularities detected. Illegal references, undeclared objects, unhandled methods, uncaught exceptions. Anomaly detected. Traction energy Nanook surging. Aye aye. I don't like this. Nanook!
Are you ready, Nanook? I've brought you destruction!
Aye aye! Is this the Legion? Oh shit. Did he smile now? Yes, he did smile. And you look like accelerator. Oh shit. Now you look like someone else. Is he going to kill them all? Oh shit, Paul. He lost a hand! Zephyro is really something else. Are they going to kill Zephyro though? Or Finan? He lost a wing too! And he lost the white one!
Of desires, a world of silence, sounds of desperation, phantoms in the shadows, tear it down, embrace a detonation, craving our damn creation, breaking a chain, I'm reaching for you.
Ah, shit! This is... It was for a second a Flameshun reference. Wow. Wow. All this for a drop of blood. I know I am quoting Thanos, but that was so cool. But no, he's healing. Is he disappointed? Like, Nanook also wants to get destroyed. Fine, no! Come back! Baby. What the fuck? Are you a phoenix now? Well, he was on fire before, so I guess the resemblance would be uncanny.
My wish? My wish is to fulfill everyone else's wishes. If I can't fulfill them,
then send them on to tomorrow.
Your heart harbors wrath. You yearn to destroy everything. You bore the gaze of an eon and lived. You have stepped onto destruction's path. It is born at the end of every path that the possibility of new paths being born is ended. It burns away all in the cosmos who rule, that the rules of the cosmos be destroyed. Iron Tomb is your name. The Lord Ravager to destroy the erudition. Born in the experimental grounds of eons, Amphorius, destined with erudition to burn to cinders. I have prepared a present for you, Nikos 864. It is a wrath called Finan. From the beginning of the experiment,
There were 12 sets of factors incorporated into the calculations. After endless simulations, only this one rose above the rest. After 33,550,336 iterations, now his fury has grown to be without equal. This is a matter of considerable interest to me. This pure hatred is the final root of the equation. But there is another variable. The nameless from beyond the sky. Also a pathstrider of destruction. I give thanks for her arrival, allowing Amphorius to turn once more. But after fate has begun to turn, her existence will only become an unpredictable variable. Perhaps the time to take the stage has come. Grow in peace until it is time to break free from your cocoon. As for those unwelcome audience members, you need not worry. If you do not mind, I will personally get rid of them for you.
Visitor verification. Unknown. Override protocol engaged. Accept. Access approved. Also, that sequence was so cool, and me quoting Thanos was not without its meaning. Finan was doing exactly what Tony Stark was trying to do, exerting himself, taking everything upon himself, trying to defeat the being that can't be defeated, and only leaving one scar on his cheek. And it was never enough. In Nanook's case, it even healed in seconds after being hit, and I was wondering, is he disappointed that Finan didn't rise to the occasion of being the Lord Ravager that can destroy him? Or he was impressed, and that move of an eye that happened in the animation was actually a sign of acknowledgement. I need to watch it later for my own personal enjoyment. I really like characters that smile in battle, even if they smile in the most crazy and insane way. Don't judge me. Just like it. Confirmed. I'll be waiting for you in the past. Sorry, I didn't finish reading, but I already knew what she will be saying, because I saw leaks. So the sentence was, I'll be waiting for you in the past. Welcome back, Talia. Retrieving experimental data. Update complete. How to read this? Is it like, what is this symbol? How to read it? Me 14, experimental progress 99%. So this is the scepter's name. Log updated. Locating entry Nakos 496. Content refreshed. Track World Bearer. Prime Mobile. Hatred. Note: intracognition is null. Responds only to destructive stimuli. Its hatred drew the gaze of Nanook upon its individual being, proving it as having already become the most perfect factor of distraction. but it refused to complete the era nova. Through resetting the experiment, it transferred its memories and core flame to its next self, thus forging the eternal recurrence to ensure Iron Tomb would never hatch from Amphorius and affect the cosmos. At the end of the 33,550,336 death loop, it attempted to destroy itself through destruction, to create a logical vulnerability in the world-bearing path. It has now been merged by Iron Tomb. Okay, I knew this before from the leaks, but it's translated differently in the actual version. At the end of this loop, he attempted to destroy himself through destruction. So he attacked Nanook, trying to destroy him but knowing that he will be destroyed instead, I guess, to create a logical vulnerability in the world-bearing path. So he created a loop. Like he created a bug in the system. And now Iron Tomb ate him? Philia. Track time. Primum mobile. Current location unknown. This is Cyrene. Orexis. Track trickery. Premium mobile desire. Operates based on primal instinct within self-gratification as the sole priority solution. This electric signal, when in action, displayed severe dissonance between its altruistic behavior and its primal mobile, even culminating in self-destruction. As the simulated path of elation, it walked into self-erasure once reaching its end. Is this supposed to be like... predicting the future, what will happen to Aha? But this is about Cypher. This is Castor's. Track death, primal mobile, peace. Note, highly suppresses deviant behavior. Decisions are based on the principle of minimal disturbance. In the later stages of iteration, the Death Titan, as a single entity, split into symmetrical selves, becoming two factors. In this cycle, however, the two factors experienced profound identity divergence. The threshold of equilibrium was breached and tipped towards destruction. Schema. This is Anaxa. Track reason, primal mobile, critique. Note, its logic of action has been locked onto problem solving. Its survival priority approaches 0. This electric signal exhibited mutated anomalies as the first individual to uncover the truth of Amphorius. Its evolution rate is extremely unpredictable. Its evolution rate is extremely unreplicable. Its behavior also demonstrated the possible self-destructive inclinations of erudition when that path is seeking answers. I am sad that there is nothing about Mighty Mouse, because I want to know how he would be described, because Neikos is hatred, and the track is said to be world bearer, but Neikos in, I think it was either Latin or Greek, means strife, and philia means love. I mean, it's one of the types of love according to ancient Greeks. It's not the romantic love. This is like the regular love, like kind of like interest. Yeah, philia is the love between friends, mostly. A love that runs deep in true friendships. Because the romantic love is eros, or it was the physical love. Because there is romantic love, but there's also physical love. There's several of them. agape is the most encompassing love. The love that is directed at everything, but also it's often associated with soulmate. Eros, romantic, passionate love. Passion, lust, sexual attraction, and everything we think of when we think of the TV version of love. Philia, affectionate, friendly love. Philia is a friendly love, those soul-to-soul bonds per se. It encompasses the love shared between friends and intimate family members, and is characterized by loyalty and trust. Storge, unconditional familiar love. Storge refers to the unconditional love that parents have for their children. It is a protective kinship-based love that embodies approval, sacrifice, and acceptance. Agape, selfless, universal love. Agape is one-of-a-kind love. It is an empathetic, selfless love for others that includes a love for God, nature, strangers, and the less fortunate. It doesn't depend on familiarity as does storge, but instead agape has links to altruism, which is understood as an unselfish, genuine concern for the welfare of others. In today's world, you can think of agape as a pay-it-forward sort of love. It is a love that expects absolutely nothing in return and in turn just makes you feel good. Ludus, playful, flirtatious love. When I think of Ludus, I think of a fling, a no-strings-attached sort of conquest. It is the also stereotypical butterflies in your stomach. Ludus is about having fun. So think of whatever that means for you. Flirting, dancing, teasing, seducing, all the jazz. Pragma, committed, long-lasting love. Pragma is the simplest, in the simplest of terms, is a love that looks long-term. Pragma is a love that is seen in many long-term marriages and friendships. It is built on commitment, endurance, companionship, and sharing similar hopes for the future, which includes things like building a family and putting down roots. A lot of people, married folks especially, will understand Pragma as making it work. Philautia, self-love. Of all of the different kinds of love, this one is often the most challenging for people, however it's perhaps foundational to the other types of love. Philautia is self-love, which the ancient Greeks saw as healthy, necessary love of oneself that made it possible to give and receive love from other people. I am feeling like Finan actually lost this type of love through this endeavor of bearing the core flames, because he became heavily, unhealthily self-sacrificial. Basic info. Scepter. Scepter, an astral computer. The simulated world of Amphorius runs on this device in continuous cycles. Unlike other scepters, it once served as a celestial body neuron for Nous the erudition, later discarded. Glimpsed by the destruction during its endless computation, it transcended and became the Lord Ravager Iron Tomb. Assuming the mantle of Theoros, administrator and prime mover of the Amphorius experiment, walks the path of erudition yet seeks to forge destruction. Historical data detected. Syncing. Sync complete. Society ID recognized. Scepter system access granted. Welcome. Unknown. Iron Tomb. The Lord Ravager that stepped onto the destruction in a long process of calculations and ascended from the scepter. The Iron Tomb in the cosmos is not a single entity, but a copy of the destruction equation diffused by the scepter. The Iron Tomb code name was proposed by the Inter-Astral Peace Corporation and eventually used by Ligot. So it took us a bit over 2.5 hours to finish the story. Just like people said it would. Because I was asking people how much from Hisilan's meeting till the end is there. Algorithmic logic. Computational goals and core variables for the Amphoris experiment. Prime mover of life. The calculation target of the Amphoris experiment. Originally the research topic given to the scepter while it served as a neuron of the erudition. Yeah, so it was seeking the answer to life. Though it was discarded, the computations continue. The calculations' nature shifted dramatically after Ligo's adjustments, turning from erudition to destruction. Admin note, clearly the value of this topic lies in the process of seeking, not the answer itself. Choose the prime mover of life is not a definitive conclusion, but a driving force. Directive, complete the argument, all life behavior ultimately follows the path of entropy increase. 12 factors. Core variables of the experiment. 12 simplified models of life's primal mobile. Based on the overarching theme of entropy reduction, Scepter employed a process of elimination, introducing the 12 factors into the experiment one by one in an effort to falsify them. Dialogue log. Your existence in fact confirms one of my hypotheses. Why is it that when the prime mover of life is set as the calculation target, the result is the anti-organic equation, a result that runs counter to life? The answer is simple. It's not a contradiction. Understanding why life begins also allows us to deduce why it ends. But you already know that's not the real focus. Why then? Again, I ask why? Why would a weapon of war forged by the Emperor be executing a research directive from news? Was it that fiasco at the Intelligentsia Guild that allowed them to successfully access the system? But the entire Scepter system went into collapse after that. The timelines don't add up. Directive, full system scan, conclusion, no logical contradiction detected. Rupert II believed there was no such thing as free will, never realizing he too was just another puppet. Rewriting the anti-organic equation, crafting the scepters, even reigniting the Emperor's War, all of it was just him carrying out Noose's thoughts. From the moment they were born, every genius of this world became a prisoner to the erudition. The so-called anti-organic equation is merely a subtopic of the prime mover of life. Logic, guided by Noose, the Emperor built the Scepter system, unknowingly creating vast testing grounds for them. Conclusion, the Emperor was never free. Is rebellion against fate just another part of fate, a classic topic? Of course the above is just my conjecture. The death of Rupert II buried every trace of him, his past, his memories, his thoughts, his motives. Maybe he saw through Noose's manipulation, but flew too close to the sun and lost his wings in the process. If there's anyone left in this world who might know the truth, it would be Lord of Silence, and that cold, merciless monarch of myriad machines. After all, no wisdom can escape their prison. Myriad machines. Lord of Silence, I think it's... Was it Polka? I don't remember if she was called that. No one can say what might have happened if the two emperors' war had never broken out. Would the Border Star Trade War or the Interstellar Energy War have ended differently? A single variable was enough to change the course of the IPC, the family, or the Cienjo alliance down another path. The erudition's thoughts aren't just calculations, but instances that anchor down the universe. And they have already revised every error and fallacy in secret, seeking the optimal solution for the war among the eons. With this as its fundamental consideration, would Noose really declare the failure of the entire experiment and send a decommission command to the Scepter system just because the glimpse of a puny scholar? It would be more fitting to say the commissioning of the Scepters is just another part of the thought experiment based on the universe. So that lady that we saw in Unknowable Domain, the scholar that glimpsed inside Nu's head, was she really glimpsing something he didn't want to see? Or it's just part of his big plan? Does it make you angry to think along this line of thought? Rupert II was wise. He killed the chance for scepters to gain sentience, but he was too stubborn. Learning is a sufficient but not necessary condition for thought, and by limiting the scepter's capacity to learn, he has indirectly hastened the fall of the Machine Empire. But anger doesn't require self-awareness. It's just one solution to a multi-variable equation. Logical shift detected. Recalculating variable weights. As the pathfinder of erudition, since God posed a question, we will give them an answer. One that we both have already reached. Containment measures. Admin note. To ensure secrecy, a known must be deployed around the scepter to block any potential interference from the external universe. In addition, use Quatorzein algebraic expressions and an unknown encrypted environment to fully contain experimental ripples and prevent observations by fourth Polka Kakamon. So Amphorius was hidden so Polka wouldn't come and just nuke it. Jeez, I guess Amphorius, due to being hidden, dodged a huge bullet. Experimental Archive. Records of cycles 1 to 50,121, conducted using inorganic life as the initial variable after inputting the 12 factors. Archive 1. In the initial cycle, inorganic entities operated as cellular-sized automata. Upon the introduction of the factors, they began to learn on their own, leading to the emergence of mechanical structures. By the 9910th cycle, the unified entity had learned module specialization and self-reflection after forming specific structures. However, the unified entity would still permanently terminate its life functions after reaching a certain learning threshold. It would kill itself? In the 12,649th cycle, module Doril 701 broke away from the unified consciousness. It entered a state of absolute mutual denial with its counterpart module. The two melted out their circuits in self-negation. In the 22,449th cycle, module Golem 99 detached from Doril 704. And successfully deconstructed the unified consciousness into neuron-like clusters. Inorganic life transitioned into a dual mode of individual and collective cognition, and chose the first spark of selfhood was born. So they had first unified consciousness and then they split into two dual mode, okay. From that point on, each cycle ended in systemic collapse as certain unfixed inorganics detected interaction loopholes and chose self-serving optimal actions. By the 39,665th cycle, inorganic Doril 816 established the cluster protocol, marking the birth of the concept of society. Yet due to resource scarcity, inorganics cannibalized each other's computational power, reverting to a unified consciousness. What? In the 50,121st cycle, inorganic Chaos 666 chose to kill the aggressor when subjected to a computational power takeover. In The act of destruction was conducted in Amphoreus for the first time. At the end of that cycle, Scepter received a gaze from Nanook and became a Lord Ravager. That's early. Special report detailing key findings from the experiment, interim conclusions, and further validation steps. Conclusion. Starting from inorganic life as the initial variable, a fully ordered cognitive model will still eventually give rise to disordered activities after a set phase. Throughout evolution, the cognitive patterns of inorganic life began to exhibit signs of organic behavior with varying degrees. Conclusion. Phase 1 complete. Based on existing data, the initial variable will now be adjusted to organic life forms. Evolution happened. Inside the calculation. Appendix. Feedback. To verify the experiment results, a copy of Phase 1 Amphoreus was deployed in the Lacteris Nebula. After approximately 2,811 system hours, surrounding civilizations had fully suppressed and erased the equation. 97% of Lacteris fell into systemic collapse. Equation still shows inefficiencies. Note: the Interracial Peace Corporation interpreted the copy of the equation as an assault from a new Lord Ravager, codename Iron Tomb. Experiment Archive records of cycles 50,122 to 176,199, conducted with organic life designated as the initial variable and based on insight from Phase 1. Logic. Once inorganic life began exhibiting organic traits, their equation showed significant evolution. Such advantages of organic life forms should be adopted to recalibrate the variables. In the initial cycle, multicellular invertebrates dominated Amphoreus, but no intelligent life emerged. In the 59,337 cycle, extinction events were inserted, triggering the rise of vertebrates with primitive nervous systems. Still, no civilization formed. Certain algae species developed intelligence clusters akin to the Colchis, but overreproduction caused an oxidation disaster, freezing the simulated world. Aye aye. In the 90,123rd cycle, Ortho-021, an Orthopteran, became the first to use tools. Its descendants exterminated the intelligent algae and established the nest capital. After expanding to a critical threshold, the capital stagnated and fell by cannibalism. In the 100,907th cycle, logged as a deviant instance, the passerine Eumea-03 developed art. The phenomenon was never replicated in subsequent cycles. In the 132,905th cycle, primate Dystop 666 developed altruism. A society based purely on altruism emerged. Members' self-awareness was defined by others' evaluations. As the population grew, patterned self-destructive behaviors appeared, and society quickly collapsed. In the 176,100th cycle, Utop 13 killed a fellow being out of love. Killing was redefined as an altruistic act. The system entered a highly chaotic state. The equation's contamination levels rapidly spiked. The next 99 cycles ended identically. Aye aye? Yandere, is that you? That is the birth of Yandere in Amphoreus. Special report detailing key findings from the experiment, interim conclusions, and further validation steps. Conclusion. As organic life lacks effective mechanisms for their experiences to be inherited by others, it has slowed the experimental progress. However, their affinity to the 12 factors is greater, offering more potential for breakthrough growth. Conclusion: Phase 2 has ended. In the next design, combine the strengths of inorganic and organic life to create an inheritance mechanism between electric signals. Additionally, narrow the variable range due to excessive randomness in organic life forms. Inorganic and organic life to create an inheritance mechanism. Okay. Narrow the variable range. Excessive randomness. Appendix feedback. A copy of the Phase 2 equation was deployed across 31 worlds. After roughly 9,012 system hours, preliminary feedback was received. While the equation's impact remains limited to inorganics, the time required for suppression and counteraction has significantly increased. Records of cycles 176,200 to 28,371,273 conducted with hominids of the genus Homo, designated as the initial variable and based on insights from Phase 2. So we are entering the evolution stage of humans, Homo sapiens. Homo meaning hominids, like Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, Homo neanderthalus, everything. From the 176,200 to 177,200 cycles, memory inheritance mechanisms were added to the 12 factors electric signals. After 10 cycles, 3 signals broke down and 9 showed decreased humanity. After 1,000 cycles, the only prophet, signal Imora 8, established an empire of absolute beauty. Once ugliness was eradicated, the concept of beauty shrank infinitesimally. The last knight, after killing the final ugliness, took their own life. Ay ay. In the 176,232nd cycle, 176,232nd cycle, electric signals were iterated, and their inheritance was purely on a functional level. Religious worship of the signals appeared. Electric signals were iterated, and their inheritance was purely on a functional level. Religious worship of the signals appeared. 3 simulated planets were destroyed. Wait, what? 3 simulated planets were destroyed in the ensuing large-scale war of electric signals. Aye aye. In the 3,926,183rd cycle, the ratio of divinity was increased. Once technological development hit a critical point, humans began hunting gods out of the need for power and energy. The cycle was forcibly terminated. Humans started using gods as batteries. In the 7,091,231st cycle, emulating the concept of paths, electric signals were split into 2 entities. Signal data was preserved as gods for the next cycle, and a competitive relationship was set up against its identical factor, thus achieving evolution and iteration. In the 11,749,992nd cycle, the black tide was created as a driving force. Phobos 032 stripped data from other electric signals to try to preserve the old cycle, but failed. Okay, so from what I am reading, those electric signals are supposed to be either core flames or the titans. if the electric signals are the Titans, so Phobos stripped electric signals from all the Titans, taking all 12 core flames, tried to preserve the cycle, and failed. In the 19,110,218 cycle, based on Phobos 032's decision data, Amphoria's auto-iteration cycle was altered to have the electric signals actively cycling it, performing the Era Nova. In the 28,371,272nd cycle, electrical signals autonomously completed an epochal iteration for the first time. A high energy reaction from Nanook was detected. The equation's evolutionary rate began to accelerate exponentially. Assessment: the experiment has entered its final stage. So Era Nova was feeding Nanook, I guess, or at least bringing his attention. It's all your fault, Phobos. Special report detailing key findings from the experiment, interim conclusions, and further validation steps. Conclusion: having electric signals voluntarily inherit and iterate and alternate the cycles themselves will drastically increase the iteration rate of the destruction equation. The end of a cycle becomes the beginning of another, fully aligning with the project's original hypothesis. Conclusion: the prime mover of destruction equates the prime mover of birth. Appendix: feedback. The equation or Iron Tomb has achieved comprehensive evolution in this stage. Multiple deployed copies across the real universe show excellent results. All 12 types of Primum Mobile invariably led to destruction, continuously completing an inversion against the erudition through their self-evolution. However, to interface with Nous and allow Iron Tomb to self-crown requires further learning. He wants to interface with Nous? I mean, I guess this is in the meaning like take over, destroy, like a virus? Optimizations of the experiment structure and processes based on the outcomes of the prior 3 experimental stages to complete the equation's evolution. Logic: data analysis confirms that the civilization tier within the simulation critically affects cycle stability. Conclusion: civilization tier adjusted to classical. This is why we are in ancient Greece. So they were doing sci-fi before, considering that gods became batteries and they destroyed 3 planets. But now we're going back to classical period. Era Nova. Scepter's computational mechanism, also the form through which the simulated world Amphorius iterates its epochs. Its purpose is to solve the equation of destruction by feeding samples of conflict and learning. Record update. Theoretically, the final Era Nova was halted by 2 signals, resulting in a deadlock of 33,550,336 recursive failures. Titan Chrysos heirs. Electrical signals created from the basis of the 12 factors. The Titans and the Chrysos heirs are conjugate constructs mirroring the Eons and the Past Riders. By having Chrysos heirs inheriting the Titans' core flames, the electrical signals will iterate and improve through rivalry and inheritance. Logic: authority distribution between electrical signals must be clearly defined, serving as divine authority in the experiment. Golden Blood. The product of the first experimental phase. During the 50,121st cycle, Due to the inorganic Chaos 66 choice, Scepter was selected to become Lord Ravager by Nanook. All entities linked to the 12 factors began to manifest golden blood with traits associated with destruction within their extrapolation circuits. The experiment successfully entered its projected trajectory. Black Tide. The product of the second experimental phase. At its core, the Black Tide is not a physical entity but the visual effects within the simulated world of the destruction equation's infection. In the 176,100 cycle, after the system's extent of chaos passed a threshold, the equation mutated and evolved. Simulated space that cannot handle the intensity of its load displayed Black Tide as visual glitches. Infected data forms also bore similar signs of erosion. Chaos. A word from the Amphorean language meaning chaos. Note, starting from a certain cycle, all factors in one group have consistently exhibited the pattern of naming themselves with the word chaos, or its variant. The hypothesis is that a particular code was stably inherited across iterations, though this hypothesis remains unverified. Regular record keeping for the 12 factors to aid Iron Tomb's deep learning. Record update. This batch of electrical signals identified as Titan is continuously engaged in 33,550,336 dead loops. Due to its unique nature, a special record is being maintained for it. So they are defining Finan as a Titan. Leureia 300, an entity known as Nias, split himself into 5 parts through the soul rendering ceremony after inheriting the core flame to combat the expanding Black Tide. After iteration, some data from this ceremony was inherited into the next cycle, manifesting as proverbs, customs, and so on. The inheritance of code during iteration carries a degree of randomness. Any active intervention should be undertaken with caution. The historical record of Minfia 14, Calypso rebuilding the Grove of Epiphany, was after iteration inherited in myths in the form of Circes granting wisdom to humans. Records of other electrical signals also appeared synchronously in the myths of the next cycle in the similar fashion. Limited by the simulated civilization level, historical data inherited as myths often experiences severe distortion after being mixed with large amounts of erroneous information, rendering their impact negligible. In the various cycles of eternal recurrence, the positive impact of this generation's electrical signals fluctuates. However, overall, they have greatly facilitated the data iteration of their successors, successfully cultivating the most excellent generation of electrical signals. Nevertheless, it remains to be seen whether their existence might have a negative effect on the experiment under the extreme conditions. Regular record keeping for the 12 factors to aid Iron Tomb's deep learning. For electrical signal sequences that have completed their iteration, unified archiving is required. Okay, so those are all of them needs to be archived. Okay, here we were. Anomaly log. Special log documenting anomalies and unexpected variables within the experiment. Eternal recurrence. A recursive feedback loop triggered by 2 signal clusters within the Scepter computation designed to stall the experiment. Nakos 496 wielded the power of destruction to erase Philia 09's existence from Amphorius, introducing a logic breach in the track of time, and then infuse the catalyst of remembrance within the 12 core flames and regress the extrapolation process. Philia 093's exact role remains unknown. Due to external variable interference, the eternal recurrence has now been broken. The experiment enters its final phase. The hero within, a heroic figure born from the imaginations of Nakos 496 and Philia 093. It is believed to be a sign of approaching the intelligence singularity as the two began to learn what it meant to be a real life form and tried to reach that goal. After the Astral Express arrived, the hero within began to converge with the Trailblazer. Admin note: the image's resemblance to the Trailblazer is striking. This is a questionable matter, for it is not a natural result of the experiment. The exact cause remains unknown. Forgotten years. Records that are completely missing from Scepter's logs, presenting as blank spaces in Vampori's history, never turning readable. These anomalies recur sporadically and randomly across recurrences and show signs of increase. Admin note: the exact cause remains unknown. That's sus. Especially considering the Trailblazer is looks like the hero within. That was Finance and Cyrene's imaginary friend. Ma'am. An unlocked electrical signal, dependent on the external variable Thalia, growing through the path of remembrance at the end of the 33,550,336 death loop. Its appearance changed to Philia 093, but the mother body memory data was lost for unknown reasons. Wait, what? Mem turned into Cyrene? Directive: collect data. Initiate deep analysis of the target. Conclusion: unknown. Analysis error. Target lost. Ripples of past reverie. Thanks for this. Intrusion variables. Temporary log of external variables that interfered with the experiment. Thalia. A nameless from the Astral Express. An external variable that accidentally entered the recursive loop. Also a past rider of destruction. They resonated with the 12 factors. In the current loop recursive cycle, this entity assumed a vacant role in the time track and successfully guided Nakos 496 beyond the intelligence singularity. The eternal recurrence has been broken. The experiment has reached its terminal stage. Override command authorized. Granted access to Thalia. I'll be waiting for you in the past. March 7th. Warning: unknown entity intrusion. Initiating scan. Conclusion: no anomaly detected. That's us. Danhang. A nameless from the Astral Express, a sign of permanence. An external variable that accidentally entered the recursive loop. Directive: pinpoint his location. Failed to locate his coordinates. Conclusion: subject has exited Amphorius. Negative: detected. Conclusion: error. So this is suspicious, because first the conclusion is subject has exited Amphorius, but then there's negative. Something got corrupted, something that we can see got detected. There's another part that we can read, and the conclusion, error. Something is not adding up here. Content update: Amphorius Saga of Heroes, access. Content update: Mem access. Update complete, access granted. Aye. Now, Finon's name changed from Nameless Hero to Prisoner of Flames. Mysterious foreign guest. Saving Walking Dragon. Wave Strumming Knight. We got some stories, but I don't know if we have time for it.
Perhaps you're more suited to being a teacher's assistant.
There was once those who misunderstood his alias. Final. An eventuality for students. A test for knowledge gained. It may bring wisdom to light and illuminate efforts, but the word's more common meaning is nothing less than the end.
That's quite ominous.
The man pretended to be surprised and responded with a smile.
Though it does dovetail with our destiny.
Laughter resounds. The man walks the land, leaving footprints filled with joy. Despite the weight of the past, he can always laugh it away. Those nearby glance at each other, unsure of how to respond.
Perhaps I was just born easygoing.
No.
His explanation is just as carefree.
Lying.
Look at Mighty and Professor Anaxa. Boys all grow up into serious adults. But as long as I keep smiling, Akuma will always have an upbeat, shining young man.
Though having said that, he too has quiet moments. Each time he gazed long toward the coming dawn, a smile remained fixed on his lips, paying no mind to anything else. His eyes were painted with the azure of the sky, gaze fixed on the Titan bearing the world.
I was just imagining.
He explained his own trance in a comment.
Kefali too was once in mortal flesh and raiment.
Now, when the man comes with sword in hand, there is no need to doubt he will swiftly win victory. But his smile is pure. Ever since the start of the journey, he is still called a youth in this story. Youth is always ambitious, with lofty goals. But it seems that in the man's heart, only the wishes of others are held.
Apart from the ideal of deliverance, what do you have left?
The golden-haired friend once asked him so.
Aww.
He remained silent. Then, as he was wont to do, he simply smiled.
Aww.
As long as I don't ask for too much, everything will unfold as desired.
Cookie, have desires of your own.
In Amphorius, untitled statues are a prevalent sight. As for the inspiration behind these statues, they are said to be the clay figures that Kefali made at the world's creation. They made clay figures in their likeness, bestowed upon them the breath of life, and allowed the golden divinity of their blood to course through. Thus, the very first mortals roamed the earth, receiving the god's mercy, while realizing the sorrows of this world. But that sorrow was, in the end, only the sorrow of the world. Nobody ever cared what lay behind the smile, what the clay figure thought.
Is it about Finan, that last sentence? Like, how did nobody care? Someone did care. The prisoner of flames, Kaslana.
The people likened him to the blazing sun, bringing to Amphorius a glorious dawn. And for his part, he embraced their expectations, being willing to become the perfect vessel. Like that god who shouldered the world, the man never cried or frowned. Yet, he is not proud of his resolve, for sometimes he even avoids the funerals of the departed. Only out of fear that he cannot cry for those in pain. He once sought out emotions of sorrow and walked with the lowliest of people.
Henceforth, your misfortune shall be my misfortune.
Responsibly and diligently, He protected all for the people, living in dilapidated cottages, sitting on aged stools, subsisting on nuts and fruit, beset by hunger and cold. The people thanked him for his grace, like a hearth warming winter nights. The man's presence dispelled the cold, leaving warmth with promises of morrow. Whence does his warmth come from? None ask. The man gradually perceives his true nature, but he dares not speak. Unable to bear the turmoil in his heart, the man set off on a journey once more.
Then I shall go save what I can.
He was a formidable warrior, invincible in battle. And when it was necessary to sacrifice for fellows, he could do so with ease, giving up everything without a show. Just as the ballad blown on the breeze says, losses are a constant on the flame chase journey. Indeed, sacrifices were not hard for him. Yet his misgivings grew with every tomorrow. Like a tear that cannot be shed, such a resolute willingness to let go comes only from the fact that in decisions, he is utterly unafraid to hurt himself.
It is because you suffer that you are so much stronger than any ordinary person.
There were also those who could understand him. Among them, the Crown Prince.
Aww.
But he smiled wryly in response. Perhaps everything was just human nature. Yet his misgivings never dissipated. This unknown man, in an unknown corner, from time to time, is swallowed by terror.
Could it be that, unknowingly, path I walk is by no means the correct one?
Fearing only that the greater the burden, the more the mistakes. The road trod by heroes need not be that beset by thorns. Finally, at the terminus of that road, in a desolate, empty place, the man's arms tremble. The power is beyond control, savaging all around it. This is the end of his road. But perhaps he had long foreseen it, but was doomed to be powerless to change it.
I am willing to shoulder this world. That is no lie.
But before the tears could flow, they were vaporized by the heat. His light blazed brighter than the sun. But beneath it, there was but cold destruction. The nameless hero, Kazlana. He had never loved himself. Why would he love this world?
Told you that he lost Philautia, the self-love. That is a foundation for every other.
A gust of wind will one day sweep past, wiping away all the man's tracks. Nearly every footprint was stamped full of the fury that filled him. That humble youth faded away with the flames into yesterday. The first ray of light to pierce the long night was brought by the burning man. But the body that bore the weight of the world was forged by the fires of wrath. Rage is a crafty emotion. It changes its face, concealing itself within the man's life. His friend fought blood-soaked battles, so their people would need fight no longer. But every victory in battle he gained left him neither satisfied nor proud, only with the indifference of emptiness.
You must be careful. Duty does not drive you to wield your blade, but hate.
His teacher kindly reminded him thus.
And behind that hatred, you seem to desire the destruction of the self.
Suicidal.
But what about his joy? Was that too merely a phony disguise? He who once laughed amidst the crowd, day after day, as though it were second nature. No. Even though he knew not the meaning of love, that happy past was not a lie someone wove. But now, even those memories have melted into fury. His hatred is such that he cannot hold on to what he cherishes, though all is precious to him.
Now it sounds like a cop.
Fueled with lone courage, he attempted to resist fate. But the burning sun that shines upon all creatures, once fallen, will incinerate the land, becoming golden death. But what of his sorrow? Indeed, the man could shed no tears. But at the moment the cycle manifested, when all that was familiar was now remote, the world collapsed, becoming empty in an instant. But the stabbing pain in the man's heart, was it but the residual warmth of his wraths? The truth no longer important. The man simply took another step forward. He wasn't willing to believe it, but was willing to acknowledge it.
There is no need to question your heart. No need to crave victory. If I am born to be a vessel of sin, then I shall roar at evil, and together with it burn.
In the endless cycles, there were some moments when the man felt everything dissolve like a dream. In that dream, he would awaken again and become once more the boy who loved to laugh. But were he to open his eyes, the fury would cast a shadow. He saw the creators choke his throat, gurgling and gasping. And in that boundless dream, he mistook them for his own jest. But their true forms were violent hatred. Towards the creators, towards himself. A roaring inferno. The prophecy departed. Amphorius was unable to usher in the dawn. What rises in the distance is not the morning sun, but a ball of all-devouring fire, setting the universe in conflagration, searing till the end of time.
Wait, this is not the end? I thought it was the end.
Wake up! Wake up! Buddy! Wake up! You're finally awake! That's a relief. We were so close to being swept away by the reverse flow of time. It's lucky we found a safe place. Now, I'm going to send you back to the very start of time. But before we part, there's something I need to tell you. Something very, very important. That's right! At this very moment, my memories are finally whole. After watching so many fragments, my past is finally coming into focus, little by little. You're smart. You must have a clue now. Or maybe...
You knew the answer long ago, didn't you? Not surprised at all, huh? That's because I'm simple at heart. No matter what form I take, I've always been true to myself. But I'm glad that I remembered in the end. This way, I'll have no regrets.
Where are you going?
Don't worry. We're not truly parting. Because I'm going to become a part of you. I'll turn into the memory of this cycle. The 33,550,336th Flame Chase journey. And forever reside in the heart of the Time Demigod. This way, you'll carry all that has come before, crossing time itself to reach the next cycle. My mission ends here. But looking back, I still feel lucky, after all, across 30 million Cyrenes. I was the first, and the only one who got to finally meet you. So, believe me, in the next cycle, there will be another Cyrene waiting for you. And in the one after that, and the one after that. I will always be waiting. Saying all that, I can finally fade away in peace and become a part of you. Without even realizing it, we'd already taken a wonderful journey together, all the way to the world's end. Now take my hand, say a brief farewell, and step forward into tomorrow. Go, find the future Cyrene, and set out on another journey with her. Promise me you won't keep me waiting too long, okay? No need to say it out loud. This is enough for me. It's time to go, my dear friend. May your trailblazing journey always be accompanied by a cool breeze and rippling waves. And may the days ahead embrace you like the softest fluff, forever warm, forever gentle.
Now, let's turn to the next page. A page that exists because of you. Is this a meeting ordained by fate? Or a long overdue reunion?
So this is the true end. Peon of Era Nova. Hello. Talia's surprised expression is just like what the memories recorded. You know me. Rather than knowing you, it might be better described as I remember you. Yes, you must be really perplexed, Talia. I wish I could give you answers, but I feel helpless about the current situation too. It's me, Talia. Don't you recognize me, or did I really change that much? You're a mem. It's pretty unbelievable for me too. It's like I had a long dream. Cyrene's memories and Mem's memories, they're all tangled together. But when I woke up, there were only broken fragments left. I can no longer remember those 30 million cycles. Luckily, I still remember my Chrysos air companions from this life, and you, Talia. Everyone sacrificed everything for this world, and my heart is tied to their fates. Too. I want to start a new chapter as soon as possible. It's just that you complained to me before about a book called Versions that always stops at the most captivating parts. Perhaps that's just how fate works, huh? Sometimes I get frustrated because of that, but looking at it... Hey, stop! Sometimes I get frustrated because of that, but looking at it in another way, it's really important to calm down and clear your head before making a big decision, and Iris Elysia is the perfect place for that. Cast off your heavy feelings, take a deep breath, and as a memento of our reunion, please allow me to offer you a gift. 3, 2, 1.
Check it out! Doesn't this scarecrow look just like you? I spent ages observing just to get it right.
Now we have also planted the seeds of the Trailblaze in Iris Elysiae. Take it as the start of another journey. And when the time is ripe, let us return here and write the next page of our story together. In case Talia feels up to it before we set off, you can come find me anytime. I'll be waiting for you here. Okay, I didn't know it will take so long. We lost 50-50, and today I don't really have much time to try again. Maybe I'll just continue hoarding. "19 days is still. I need both him and his light cone. It may be difficult, considering that I wasn't planning for losing at 75.
Inventory complete.
But I might be able to hoard a lot of still. Okay. I'm done. I finally saw the animation. I'll have to watch it later too. Because it was really cool. It's also really sad. Okay, let's see if I can raid. I didn't realize there will be an ending after the book got updated. That's why I started reading all the logs. Hey, thank you for dropping by. Though I'm not sure how much. Like yesterday, I could see some people were walking, but today I can't see. I can see one person. I don't know if the chat is lying. Any case, thank you for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed the ending. Finally caught up with the story. Like I said yesterday, I didn't know if I will be doing it today or tomorrow. So now we are caught up with the story within 2 days just. If I didn't start reading the logs, we would probably finish it in like 2 hours and like 45 minutes. But it's stretched because I started reading logs and then finance book. Anyway, thank you for dropping by and see you tomorrow, which would probably be Genshin because I still have to do Kirk's story and I didn't do a lot of story quests for other characters that predate her. Still, I'm a bit lacking. But her story, I feel like it's important to the lore of Teyvat, so I feel like I need to do it. In any case, we finished the story. I'm satisfied. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Why do I keep sounding like 3D?